Man. Baby, it's cold outside. It really is cold here. It's snow covered and
You know, they're trying to, like, there
I
is
know.
a movement to get rid of that song, right?
I know. I'm going to start a movement, hashtag baby, it's cold outside here too.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, anybody who's defending it, I implore you to
read the lyrics. No, I pulled up the lyrics today and read the lyrics, and I was like, this is harmless until like halfway through, and she says, "Say what's in this drink?"
Yeah, seriously.
and I immediately thought of Bill Cosby.
Well, yeah, I
what's in this pudding pop?
I support that movement solely on the fact that I have a long-term goal of getting all Christmas music banned forever. So it's just step one in the machinations.
Yeah, well, I mean you're kind of riding on the coattails of this one, I think. Then, if that's your end goal.
Yeah, if your generation can't even get mayonnaise banned, then I have no fear you'll take away my Christmas songs.
The world,
mayonnaise. What mayonnaise?
Yeah, millennials are trying to get rid of mayonnaise.
Why are millennials trying to get rid of mayonnaise?
Because they can't afford to eat.
Hello there, everyone, and it's been another 2 weeks. Welcome back to another episode of Book Club, the podcast. I'm Elijah Crowder.
I am Dylan. And Ansel is tickled.
I'm Ansel.
Welcome you back. I am the only one keeping with the last name, apparently.
Well, I was thinking I can't believe we never thought to shorten Ansel's name to Ants. Like that's the one thing I thought of. I'm sorry. I'm jumping the gun a little bit.
Yeah, that's why he's my favorite character. I saw myself in him. Yeah.
No, you didn't.
For the most part.
That's horseshit. Yeah, so I guess we did jump the gun there a little bit. But it's not a secret. We told you guys 2 weeks ago we'd be reading As I Lay Dying by Mississippi's own William Faulkner. I chose this book because I'm lazy, and I've read it 4 times and written several papers on it already, so this was a bye week for me again.
So you didn't read it?
No, of course not. I've read it 4 times. I mean, I've got the thing memorized, honestly.
Sure.
Yeah, I've written on this book extensively. I wrote a treatise on the socialist plays within the book.
Did you bring that to share with us?
No, I haven't. I don't have that anymore. That's actually on my son's laptop still, maybe.
Get it. Bring it into the club.
Yeah. I mean, I got an A for it. But it was one of those experiments in let's see what kind of horse shit I can write and get an A on. And I did. It was a Dr. Anderson at the University of Mississippi. And of course, University of Mississippi, William Faulkner is basically a course load there. That and slavery apologetics. I love this book for many, many reasons. But before I ask you guys your quick opinions on it, I'm going to go with the advice given to us by a longtime friend of the show, Derek, when he said we should do a little summary. Now, I found a summary on Wikipedia, but it's basically tells you the whole story.
Well, Derek,
I don't want to do that.
Derek gave us a website called Goodreads.com that has.
That's what it was. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, you could have listened to the previous episode of this here podcast to get that information.
Goodreads.com results. Let's see. As I Lay Dying. No, don't want to continue with Facebook. Why would I want to continue with Facebook? As I Lay Dying is Faulkner's harrowing account of the Bundren family's odyssey across the Mississippi countryside to bury Addie, their wife and mother. Gross. That's worded very poorly. Narrated in turn by each of the family members, including Addie herself as well as others, the novel ranges in mood from dark comedy to the deepest pathos. Considered one of the most influential novels in American fiction in structure, style, and drama, As I Lay Dying is a true 20th century classic, blah, 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 blah. Now, that leaves out a good bit, but I guess that's the main gist of it. What do you think?
Yeah, no, it's a good, concise synopsis is the word.
Well, okay. Who wants to go first with your initial impressions on William Faulkner's tour de force in the genre of, what's the genre called? Southern Gothic? American Gothic or Southern Gothic? I think it's Southern Gothic. Southern Gothic genre. Who wants to go first?
I'll just say that I think this book is great. I really dug it, and I mean, yeah, it's an amazing work of art, I think.
Well, go ahead and expand on why you think it's an amazing work of art, please. Just shortly.
Because the University of Mississippi told him it was a work of art.
Yeah, this is a couple of things.
Mm-hmm.
I think it puts you in that time and that place better than anything else, and you feel like a part of that with the perspective changing from character to character.
Mm-hmm.
You actually kind of it sort of brings you into the scene in a way that, like, I wish all books were kind of written like that. That's why I think that it's amazing. It wasn't really entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it wasn't like watching a movie or something like that. You had to work, but you know, I that's why I really enjoyed it. I thought it was great.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. It's interesting you say you got to work for it because that's something I want to get into later. Dylan.
This book is a white trash soap opera. This book fucking blows so hard. Like it's very bad, and I'm just Southern white culture was kind of like a mistake, and I think we should just.
Well, in hindsight, William Faulkner didn't know that at the time.
Well, yeah, it's not good. Like that thing that you said kind of encapsulates it. It's this thing that I hate probably the most out of all things that I hate, and I hate a lot of things, but it's this sense that it's kind of like an ivory tower sense where we're like, this thing is a work of art. Is it entertaining? No, it's boring. And
well, it's not meant to be entertainment, though.
Then do better with my time. Like paint a shitty picture that I can look at for 5 minutes.
Okay.
If you want to make art, like I want to be entertained when I'm reading a book.
You're just a Philistine. It's fine.
Yes,
there's nothing wrong.
Yes, with that. And I love being a Philistine. It's great.
I've got sort of a love-hate relationship with this book. I really love it, but there are things I don't like about it. I don't like the chapters with Vardaman. So let's talk a little bit about the story. You do have Addie Bundren, the matriarch of the family, and she is on her deathbed as the story opens up, correct?
Sounds good.
All right. Her firstborn son is right outside the window making her coffin. She has asked that she be buried in her hometown of Jefferson, Mississippi, where her people are from, which is a very long trip for these people. She, surprisingly to no one, dies. Surprisingly to everyone, she has a stream of consciousness chapter after she has died. Which
God is real.
Hashtag God is real. Which some people have argued it might be a flashback. It's sort of an anachronistic chapter that. But then I don't know. There's some things that she knows that she shouldn't know, because she speaks of things that have happened after her own death. Pretty cool, pretty crazy.
It sounds kind of like something that you would see in like a soap opera, maybe, where somebody like once they're dead, like they kind of come back to life. And
well, she didn't come back to life after the little boy drilled holes in her head. So
well, her consciousness was still kicking. You might have that in a soap opera. Ghost Mama.
What is Ghost Mama? Please, Dylan.
It's
I have not heard of Ghost Mama.
It's just something I made up. It's a daytime soap opera. It's actually a sequel to Big Mama's Family.
Well,
no,
I've heard of Ghost
Family,
Dad. Wasn't Ghost Dad a Bill Cosby movie?
Oh, I think it was. there was a movie called Ghost Dad. Yeah.
Big Mama's Family.
Big Ghost Mama's Family.
What was like a before and after category on
Yeah. It's the Tyler Perry remake of what was that show? Was it Mama's Family? Okay.
And, Big Mama's House. Or
Yeah.
or maybe you're thinking Big Mama's House too.
Anyway, that's what Ghost Mama is all about. It's a character from Mama's House as a ghost, and it's a daytime soap opera with a lot of drama. Ties up a lot of the loose threads left behind by the series finale of Mama's House.
I'll never forget that. I mean, that was such a cliffhanger. Oh. All right. Where was I?
But you were saying, you were saying, you think you think she's a ghost or not a ghost? What's your take on it, sir?
It seemed to me like she was a ghost.
Like when her narrated chapter, you think she was
She was like it was like an out of body experience, like her going up to the pearly gates to receive her final reward.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't read it that closely, but I kind of thought it was her.
Like I didn't really care at that point. I didn't really care, so I just accepted it and moved on. Like that was the first thing that came to my mind, is that she's like kind of outside of time at that point, so to speak, and just kind of accepted it and trudged on through the rest of the book.
I think it comes afterwards just to kind of blur the line a little bit between between not deadness and deadness. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So you said you didn't like the Vardaman chapters, and I actually agree with you. I think
the Vardaman chapter. Okay, well we've got to explain that there are children, but they're all grown except for Vardaman. The character of Vardaman Bundren is, and since all of the chapters are written in stream of consciousness, it is every narrator's consciousness that is being presented to the reader. Vardaman is a challenged young boy. I found it really hard to get through his chapters every time I've read this book.
See, this is my gut take on this. Like, I think Vardaman was supposed to be funny, and he probably was at the time. But I think he's kind of like the Jar Jar Binks of the book now. So I kind of agree with you that the Vardaman chapters were pretty lame. I mean, I wasn't trying to make a joke.
You guys. Yeah.
Anytime you invoke Jar Jar Binks, it's that's kind of insulting.
Well, I mean, those were bad chapters, I thought.
Yeah, no, they weren't good. But I mean,
me some mama catfish, me some mama catfish.
Yeah, see, I mean, that is kind of like what that was.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was just it was rambling, nonsensical stuff that makes sense if you really want to dig through it and figure out what the kid's trying to tell you. But I think most of the time you can do without. But there is something important that comes of it. He keeps saying Jules' mama is a horse. You remember that?
Yeah. I saw that. I heard about that.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
What's he saying?
He's saying that, well, he bought that horse. He bought his special horse, and he cared more about the horse than he cared about his mother. But at the time, like, he didn't know he had a horse. So it was just kind of a
that's
coincidence.
That's one translation. That's one way it can be looked at. Dylan, any ideas?
No, I didn't.
You don't give a shit, do you?
Yeah, I really
don't. Jules' mother is a whore. Jewel is a bastard child of Addie Bundren and the Reverend Whitfield. And at some point, Vardaman has heard Cash or Darl, the other grown men, children of the family, refer to Jules' mother as a whore, even though their mother is not, even though it's the same woman. And it's widely accepted that Vardaman is making a play that is also somehow involved with Jules' love for his horse, which is also interesting. The horse was bought from the Snokes family in the story, and apparently they're in other Faulkner novels. Like the horses are famous, the best horses in Mississippi or something. Yeah, I never read any of the other novels. But that's why the Reverend won't go in and talk to him. Like in the beginning of the book, the Reverend is trying to get there before she dies, and he doesn't go. He comes up with some excuse saying the bridges are going to wash out or something, and he turns around and leaves. He can't shake the hand of Ance Bundren, knowing that he's fathered a child that Ance has raised this entire time.
Yeah, this book was boring as hell. Like, you just describing it to me again, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is. I don't
think it was boring.
You've read this book like 4 times. Like, how?
Yeah, I like this book.
Why would you do that to yourself?
I'm gonna read it again for sure.
No.
I don't find it boring. I really don't. I find it.
Yeah, it's definitely not boring. I don't think you can say that about it.
I find that its landscape descriptions of Mississippi are spot on. So a part of it is, like being home again for me. Its description of ignorance and poverty is spot on. Its descriptions of ignorance and poverty in Mississippi are spot on. I love that it's a fictional county in Mississippi that he uses for all of his works. If you look into Faulkner, the person.
How do you pronounce it, by the way? I've read it a bunch of times.
Yoknapatawpha.
Okay, that's how I would say it if I were to say it. But that's the first time I've heard it said.
Yoknapatawpha.
No, that's getting cut for sure. Elijah did a racism again.
He did 2 in 1. Double racism. Oh my God.
How is that a racism?
It's kind of appropriating Lion King culture
to a Native American name.
Yeah.
That's fictional. I don't understand the. Anyway,
it's just black enough and just Indian enough for that to be double racist.
Well, shit. Yeah, I didn't mean it that way. I just every time I see the word Yoknapatawpha, that tune pops into my head for some reason. But I don't find it boring at all. I think there's some very complex issues with pretty much each and every character, and there's a lot of religious animosity that's prevalent through the entire work as well. And by that I mean the way people look at them as they're dragging this corpse through towns, and I think it's also worth noting that the body of Addie Bundren is not embalmed. And they lose it in the river twice, I believe, once or twice, and have to get the casket out, and then Vardaman drills holes in it so she can breathe. he keeps saying he can hear her moving in there when it's actually just the gases rupturing from her corpse. And it gets wet, and they the vultures are following them.
It's a stinky situation, is what we get.
Yeah, it's Mississippi in the middle of summer, with this coffin that's 10, 15 days not in the ground yet. I don't know. It's not boring to me. You've got the young girl Dewey Dell, who's, man, somebody wrote a paper. I have to bring this up. I didn't want to, but someone wrote a paper how the name
totally
Dewey Dell. No, because it involves the word yoni.
What is that?
The yoni is another word for the vagina. The word vagina doesn't bother me. The word yoni, for some reason, just makes me extremely uncomfortable.
That's my favorite smooth jazz musician.
Yoni.
Yanni's not smooth jazz.
What is Yanni?
He's like he's like wind chimes and gongs and shit.
I'm pretty sure Yanni's pretty smooth.
It's not a question of whether or not he's smooth. Really, it's a question of whether or not it's
you
jazz.
said, and I quote, Yanni is not smooth jazz. I have no clue. I've never listened to Yanni that I know of.
I think, I'm not 100%, but I think he does wind chimes and like stones that are tuned and stuff like that.
Okay, I'm Googling
And harps.
Yanni genre. Let's see.
Let's play some Yanni, dude.
The word Yanni doesn't bother me either. While you're looking that up, I'll just finish that thought. Dewey Dale is supposed to be like a euphemism for a vagina. And someone wrote an entire presentation on that. And that just... Because she's...
Oh, is that how the band Dewey Dale, the yacht rock band Dewey Dale, got its name?
There's a band called Dewey Dale? What?
No.
But Steely Dan
Yeah.
is a term for a dildo.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Now you know.
Now I know.
You just made that up.
I did not.
Oh.
Wow.
I think
My mind
that's
is
a William
blown.
Burroughs term.
Okay.
So he made it up.
A Steely Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, it says here that Yanni is contemporary classical music, crossover music, instrumental, and new age music.
So nothing about smooth jazz, huh?
I mean,
I told
is
you, dude.
is smooth jazz not new age?
No.
Okay, I gotta listen to some Yanni
Again, Exhibit B, Philistine.
Yeah, fair enough.
You guys want to do Media Minute?
Yeah.
Elijah's Media Minute.
All right, who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I got something here.
All right, go for it.
You got a timer for me?
Yeah, sure. Let's say I do.
The minute glasses,
Mhm.
the grains are slipping through.
Yep, I already turned it over.
Okay, cool. That is convenient because I don't have much to say. But this I actually did the audiobook on this book at Derek's suggestion, and it was the only way I could actually get through this book.
There's an audiobook for this one?
Yeah, and
Oh, God.
but the audiobook, some of the voices reminded me of a band. Like it was the voices and also the dialogue and the way the way it was speechifying. It put me in the mind of a band called Slim Cessna's Auto Club, and they're a good band. Check out the album Bloody Tenet Truth Peace.
All right, cool. Very cool. You give up the rest of your minute?
I mean, that should be about 60 seconds. It seems like now I can continue speechifying for the remainder of my time, but I do believe that was near about 60 seconds on the time
there you
of the
go.
watch.
There you go. Right then. You sound like Foghorn Leghorn.
Yeah, yes, I know this. No,
No,
I lost
no,
it. I had it.
Now see here, boy. All right, Ansel, response to that, or to go ahead with your meeting, whatever you want to do. Whatever.
I wish you'd have brought. I wish you had brought examples of what you're saying. Like,
No, it wasn't that good.
Really?
It was just like it's the timbre of the voice, and Slim Cessna. They do a similar thing with like the Southern Gothic sort of genre. But it's a lot more tongue in cheek and a lot more focused on the darker aspects of the more Gothic than Southern, I think. And it really seems like it's kind of skewering that white Southern culture that we should just like nuke from history.
Wow. Them's fighting words. I got to hang out with Slim Cessna. Did I tell you about that?
Oh yeah, you told me about that.
That was cool. It was a cool dude. Ansel, you're still up. Should I flip the timer, or
yeah, you can.
Was that your minute?
That was a 30. Supposed to be a 30-second response. So
Yeah.
I think I got my 30 seconds. So you can.
He yielded his time
Yes.
to back to the floor. I do declare.
All right, Ansel, your go. Media minute. What are you going to share?
I don't really. I was trying to think of something to share. I couldn't think of anything. I was thinking the other day about all the pets we have, and I think we like, as much as we love pets, I think there's some pets that I'm probably forgetting that we had. So I'm just going to go through the list of pets that I remember. We had Rags. It's probably
I have no memory of Rags.
okay, yeah, that was probably
Oh my
the
God,
earliest
don't
pet.
bring up
I remember.
Rags.
Yeah, and also don't interrupt my time. Both of you.
Jesus. I also had a puppy that died when I was like 9. You want to talk about that? Oh, wait, that was Rags. Fuck you.
I mean, surely you're over it by now.
Fuck you.
Elijah, he has his minute. He
All right, go
that's the
ahead.
point of Elijah's media minute. He has his time, and we can't interrupt him.
I
We are-
apologize.
We're sorry.
I apologize, asshole. Sorry. Go ahead.
We're sorry, Ants. Please continue.
All right, we had Rags, the puppy.
Prick.
We had Sneezy the cat that came to us, if I remember right, or y'all found it behind Piggly Wiggly or something like that.
We found it in a culvert over by Iron Bridge Road.
Okay, not sure what happened to Sneezy. Waldo, we had Waldo the cat for a little bit.
Waldo was a badass.
Waldo was awesome. He's an outside cat. We had him for a good 3 or 4 years probably
Yeah.
Couldn't
before he
could
went
never
to cat
find
heaven.
him.
And there was Lefty, the Siamese cat that was kidnapped because it looked cute.
Mm-hmm.
We had Bilbo, goat, greatest of all time, murdered in cold blood by our neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Fun fact, when he died, I was happy about it. Seriously.
The neighbor or the dog?
The neighbor, not the dog.
Okay.
I was devastated when the dog died.
Yeah, Bilbo was a good dog.
But I don't know. Maybe that's what I should talk about my media minute about. Maybe that's what I should.
I think you got it there.
But I just want to say, I know this is probably. I want to know if you guys are like this. Do you feel bad when bad people die?
No, not at all.
No, not at all.
Why do so many people feel that way?
Why do people feel bad when bad people die? Or
Yeah, seriously.
I think that.
I mean, that's
think
like a kindergartner question, but I don't know the answer to that.
I think I think it makes them feel better about themselves.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that's why they do it.
I think it's more of an issue of just giving the impression that they feel bad. I think it's just more of an issue of making that an outward appearance of, oh, well, we don't speak ill of the dead. And no, I don't think anybody, if anyone ever truly hated anyone and they died, it wouldn't bother the other at all, I don't think.
No.
Yeah. So I don't rejoice when bad people die, but I don't.
Some I do.
Yeah?
Yeah. Roger
It's-
Ailes for one.
Well,
Yeah,
the
I
neighbor that killed Bilbo, it bothered me that he died before I could destroy his yard, because I always wanted, because that's all he cared about was his fucking trees and flowers in his yard, and I wanted to kill them all with Roundup and have him just watch his garden slowly die, but he died before I could do that. He fed our dog, hot dogs with barbed wire in them?
No, antifreeze.
Or antifreeze?
Yeah.
Yeah. Son of a bitch.
For real.
Yeah,
it is like a William Faulkner updated type story.
Yeah.
It is. And I was going to say that actually. Our experience growing up in Mississippi was also sort of soap opera-ish in a way, and maybe just that's the state of Mississippi. Yeah. Let's talk about Rags.
Okay. I have no memory of Rags.
I remember Rags.
I watched Rags get run over. That sucked.
I'm sure.
I went out to the road and saw his little broken ribs poking out and blood coming out of his mouth, and that sucked. That was a cute little dog. And I think that's when we pretty much decided no more dogs until we got a fence built up there by the road. But man, Bilbo, Dad brought Bilbo home from somebody had abandoned the dog.
Yeah, at his work.
And that dog had trust issues, man. That dog loved us so much.
Yeah, that's
true. But anyone else, man, that dog hated everybody else.
Yeah.
If it wasn't one of us, that dog hated you. Sarah, my wife, she has very, very fond memories of Bilbo. Always trying to bite her ankles when no one was looking because no one would believe her.
I don't have any pictures of Bilbo. Does she have any? Does she get any pictures? Probably not. If it's trying.
Probably
to bite
not.
her.
I don't.
I mean, mom and dad.
She wasn't a big fan of Bilbo.
That'd be great. It'd be great to see my old pal Bilbo.
Yeah. I can still see him in my mind's eye.
Yeah, I can too.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, my dog now, Pippin, is like a short, browner version of Bilbo. Kind of looks a lot like Bilbo. So I named him Pippin.
I got the ballad of
cousins.
Bilbo Baggins in my head now.
Bravest little hobbit of them all. Well, that's it for Elijah's Media Minute.
Well, no,
No, I'm done. I don't want talking about my dead puppy.
You obviously
just ruined it.
Like you've brought Elijah's Media Minute to us. Surely you have something. It's not about you and your dead puppy. It's about the listeners, Elijah. You owe the listeners a Media Minute.
Yeah, this is part of the contract, the verbal contract that you made. You promised 1 minute exactly, and then 30 seconds each of response time.
All right, hold on. I've got to get myself in a better place.
I'm sorry, man. I tell you what, let's just do the whole thing over.
No, I mean,
a minute. Roll that.
No, I mean, seriously, man, Rags.
I'm sorry, I didn't know you still like. I don't have any.
That was a traumatic
Yes.
event in my life.
See, I don't have any feelings anymore. I assume everybody else is like that too. So I'm sorry that you still have feelings left. I apologize.
That's okay. I guess I need to get over these feelings.
Yeah.
They're not helping me much anymore anyway. Let's see. I do have something, but I'm looking in the wrong. I want to make sure I get the title of it correct. And I'm looking in the wrong. Ah, here we are. For some reading. I'm a boring person, and I genuinely enjoy reading boring things. Right, Dylan?
I can't interrupt. It's your minute. I can't interrupt.
Oh, okay. Thank you. There's a book I've been reading. It was suggested to us by our dad's uncle, Uncle David.
That would be a great uncle. Our great uncle, Uncle David. Sorry, I apologize for interrupting. Please,
I'm laughing because he just gave me 2 hand J's talking about our great uncle. Improper use of hand J, man.
I want to transition from the hand J to the scat man finger guns.
Why not both?
True that. Elijah, you were saying that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry we interrupted.
I've been reading, and I suggest for everyone to read The History of Alabama and Incidentally of Georgia and Mississippi from the Earliest Period. That's the title of the book. Once again, the title of the book is The History of Alabama and Incidentally of Georgia and Mississippi from the Earliest Period, by Albert James Pickett. It was written 1819, I believe.
What about this book?
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay.
It's absolutely wonderfully amazing. It's first-hand accounts that have been reported from the early days, the early 1700s, the first earliest people in the Mississippi River area, valley, I guess. Alabama, all the places we know and grew up in, it's a look back into the Native American lifestyles, the explorers coming through and destroying said Native American lifestyles for whatever reasons. But it's not written in an archaic manner. It's very easy to understand, and it has some tremendous stories in it. And I think my minute is up, but I'll give you the title of that book once again. And it's also, I find the title of the book also says a lot about college football. It's The History of Alabama and Incidentally of Georgia and Mississippi from the Earliest Period.
Boo.
That's such a hee-haw
By
joke, man.
Albert James Pickett. I don't care if it's a hee-haw joke. That I was 9 when I watched that dog bleed out. Fuck you.
It's our time now.
Yeah.
When you first said the title of that book, it sounded like garbage. But then once you explained that it was about the indigenous people of these areas, then it became much more interesting. I would have rather read that than As I Lay Dying.
Well, hey, you never know. I mean, it's huge. It's not something we could do on Book Club. I mean, if you want to pick it up, it's like a hobby that you're gonna be working on for another year or so.
It's more of a lifestyle than it is a book.
Yeah. But it is really excellent. No, all jokes aside, I'm loving it. So that's it for Elijah's Media Minute. Thanks for all the good memories. We do miss those pets. We miss some.
Yeah.
We had some good pets.
I mean, the second part, brief second part, I don't remember any of my fish. I don't even think I named them. So I had
I remember Cheesy Sardine. It was a silver one
I
that
do
had
remember
like
Cheesy
yellow
Sardine.
lines down the side.
Oh, yeah.
But you
I
had that silver dollar fish. You didn't name that one?
Ike
it was
the
Ike.
silver dollar
Yeah,
because
that
of
was clever.
Dwight Eisenhower on the
Of course.
the $1.
I
That
forgot
fish
about
was
that.
beautiful.
How do you not remember? Do you not remember Colossus the hermit crab?
I remember you had a hermit crab, Colossus. My hermit crab was called Alpha Centauri.
One of you had a hermit crab that died, and the room smelled of hermit crab
That
death
was,
for about a year.
That was Gargantutron or whatever yours was.
No,
Gargantutron.
What did you say his name was?
Colossus.
Oh, yeah.
Because he had a huge claw. It was huge. But he was so tiny, so it was funny.
Yeah, Cheesy Sardine, man. He was cool.
Cheesy Sardine. I think
He's a little high-strung, Cheesy Sardine.
I think Cheesy Sardine ended up eating all the other fish. I don't
Was
remember.
he the
any
one
of
that
the
would
other
chase
fish.
everyone around the tank?
Yeah.
He's like an eel,
Yeah.
like an aggressive eel.
Throughout the novel, Faulkner presents 15 different points of view.
Damn,
Each
that's a
chapter
hard cut, dog.
narrated by one character, including Addie, who expresses her thoughts after she has already died. This is from the wiki. So there you have it. She expresses her thoughts after she has died.
That's kind of subjective. I don't think you can definitively say.
Well, I'm pretty sure she says, "Look at those fools carrying my body around," or something to that effect.
Okay, like I said, I listened to this as an audiobook. But
That's something I wanted to talk about. I find it hard to believe there's an audiobook of this, because that would be extremely difficult to listen to, I think. The way the stream of consciousness is difficult enough in reading.
I'll tell you, it was easier than reading because, like, I did the first few chapters like trying to read this book, and it was, first of all, if I was his editor, I would have said, "Hey, man, you got 10 commas. You got 10. Use them judiciously. You have unlimited periods. You can use all the periods you want to use. You got 10 commas." and I would have given him the manuscript back. Like
That's funny. Faulkner is absolutely famous for these long, winding sentences that can go over pages.
Yeah, and there, like, even listening to it on the audiobook, there were some parts that were just like straight up gibberish. Like some of the Vardaman
yeah.
excuse me, chapters, but also some of the Cash chapters where he was being very like analytical and like geometric. Like it was like I kind of enjoyed, like, those were the most interesting chapters to me.
Yeah.
But still, it like sometimes it got to be where it was just gibberish and like I ignored large parts of this audiobook because it was not interesting and not entertaining.
See, I think it's not really supposed to drive the plot. The way I read it, it sort of felt like a poem when he was doing sort of the gibberish stuff. I mean, it read like a long poem. It had like a rhythm to it.
Well, yeah, if you want to do that, like, write a fucking poem. Don't write a novel.
Well,
like E.E. Cummings.
This is the novel that's got everything. It's like the sign. I mean, it's got everything and nothing. It's
like E.E. Cummings treats you right. He gives you gibberish, but it's in short, like, digestible snippets. I don't want gibberish drawn out for a novel length. Like it wasn't entertaining. Like, I want to be entertained. I don't know. I'm a Philistine. You said it. I don't want to have to think. I just want to go along for the ride, and I want to hear an interesting story. And this story wasn't. The people weren't interesting. The setting wasn't interesting. The happenings weren't interesting. It was just. It was like Dallas. It seemed like, but like
it would be a bad movie or something. But I think the it's good, but not because of what it portrays, but like how it portrays it.
But like my argument is, what it portrays does not deserve to be portrayed. Like,
that's true. And you're absolutely in hindsight. Like, yes, I agree that with modern conservative politics, like everything about white culture is just repulsive now. And like it even like leaches into older works of art. Like I was trying to listen to the Byrds album "Sweetheart of the Rodeo" the other day. I couldn't do it just because I was like, you're canceled, white culture.
I don't know. I think I could smuggle "Sweetheart of the Rodeo."
I don't know. I'm telling you, man, it's tainted by what happened 40 years later.
Fair enough. I'll give it another spin, though. That's a great record.
Anyway, point is, like, the point I was trying to make is that it's more impressive because of the craft than the actual plot itself.
But if you were so good at the craft, you could make it entertaining.
I don't know.
And yeah, I'm kind of saying, like, the craft isn't that good.
I disagree. I think it's great.
Okay, well, let me interject here. You've got to remember that this was released in 1930.
Yeah.
All right. It includes a woman seeking an illegal abortion for $10 throughout Mississippi. It includes heresy. It includes the defiling of a corpse. There were works that Faulkner had written that he was told, no, this is too shocking. You can't do this. And then he was allowed to do this. You also have to take into account that, according to Faulkner, he wrote this in the period of about 7 weeks while working midnights at a power plant on the Ole Miss campus. And it's widely believed that his original manuscript only had a few small errors in it. You know what I mean? Like the stream of consciousness of these 15 characters that he threw out was basically there, and he threw it out. He was also a severe alcoholic. So, I mean, the novel itself is world renowned as being a classic, and it's held up there with James Joyce as far as stream of consciousness writing. that hadn't really been done to that extent before, and also hadn't been done to where there was such a huge chasm of the differences of the consciousnesses that were being presented. Do you see what I'm saying? So to get it, I mean, I don't want to disagree with you. If it's boring to you, it's boring to you, and that's understandable. Ansel says it's a work of art in itself, regardless of what it's referring to. I mean, that could all be true, but to me, I think that stream of consciousness writing, once you get into the shock of it, once you get past the shock of it, I believe that allows you to get into those characters way more than any other style of writing. And I think that's what I like the most about this book. I'm gonna mention just briefly the ending as well. Ance Bundren, throughout the story, kind of plays people saying, "Oh, I don't want your charity. I don't want your charity," as they try to help him. Or I don't want to owe you anything, is what he keeps telling her. I don't want to be beholden to any man, or something like that, right?
Right.
And he's basically playing people to help him. And he takes the money that Dewey Dale has for the abortion, and he goes and buys new teeth. And then he borrows the shovels to bury his wife. And as they're leaving Jefferson, was it Jefferson City?
I think it was just Jefferson.
Jefferson, Mississippi, yeah. He marries the woman that he borrowed the shovels from. So he's got himself new teeth and a new wife to head back to Yoknapatawpha County, Mississippi. He's an absolute bastard.
Yeah.
He is an evil person. You see it in the way he manipulates his children. You see it in the way he manipulates everyone that offers him help. And
well, no, like it is a realistic representation of the people of the South. Like I do give him that. He has captured like the type of garbage that kind of manifests here.
Well, that's not where I was going with
well,
that. Where I was going with is that in this character you have the conundrum of a husband who starts out as the bereaved husband, right? Like his wife has just died, and you're supposed to like kind of see him as this paternal. And he's not accepting help, and he's going to do the right thing and bury her where she wants to be buried. And as it goes on, you're given this evil character that you have to deal with. And I don't think anyone finishes this book with pretty much any kind of inkling of like for any of the characters. Or maybe I'm wrong.
No,
I don't.
I didn't care for any of them.
No.
I mean, I felt sorry for Dewey Dell.
Mm.
I felt bad for her, but I didn't necessarily like her.
Yeah. Well, she's that ignorance, you know. She's a embodiment of that ignorance. But you know, not her fault.
At least she tried to have an abortion, like.
And gets raped. She gets raped.
No, yeah.
I mean, the book includes rape, so she gets raped by the pharmacist that she doesn't know what she's asking for, and he just takes advantage of her and then rapes her in the basement. This was released in 1930, guys. So on shock value alone, this is the Marilyn Manson of Southern Gothic novels.
Yeah, it's very good.
Marilyn Manson fucking sucks too.
No.
Like
Disagree. Hard disagree.
Like there's
that I wasn't going to open that up for debate. That's
a very well
I'm
done.
just saying the reaction Marilyn Manson received can be compared to the reaction this novel received in the 1930s.
Here's the thing with both this novel and Marilyn Manson, you can only get so far with just being shock value. Like you gotta have some like entertainment value, and it is just not here in this book or in Marilyn Manson's music.
Well, there's some people that disagree with you as far as the book is concerned. I don't know about the music, right? Again, I'll just pull this direct from the wiki. As I Lay Dying is consistently ranked among the best novels of 20th century literature. It's been reprinted by the Modern Library, Library of America, and Random House, several different publishers, Vintage Books. He was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature for his novels prior to that, and this book being among them. Critically, it has influenced several other critically acclaimed books. Blah 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 blah. There was somewhere else where it had a list of all the awards that this book has won, but I won't go through that. Let's just say it's won awards, and it is unique. You're not going to find many books like this. Can we agree on that?
I mean, you don't. I mean, I'm with you, dude. Like wherever you don't have to meet me halfway anywhere. I'm with you on this. It's Dylan.
All
You
right,
gotta convince.
I'm not trying to convince Dylan of anything. Dylan doesn't like it, and that's part of it. That's why we do this. And he has very valid reasons for liking it. I'm just saying at the same time, it is accepted as one of the greatest works of literature. So if you don't like it, then you don't like one of the greatest works of literature, and that's fine. There's several that I don't
And
like.
therefore,
You know what I mean?
Exhibit C, a Philistine.
Here's the thing, Ansel. You said earlier that it is clearly a great work of art. Yet I did not enjoy it.
No, that's not what I said. I said it's not exactly entertaining. I didn't say I didn't enjoy it. I said it's not entertaining. That's what I said, and that's true. It's not really. It's not like watching Die Hard, which may or may not be a Christmas
Yippee-ki-yay.
movie. Let's talk about that.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Sure. Okay.
I just
Case closed.
There's a huge disconnect for me from something being good and me being entertained. Like, if I'm not entertained, then it's not good. Like, especially for a novel, like, because a novel asks for like so much of your time. Like, it asks for X amount of hours, and for you to not be entertained for that 6 to 10 hours. Why? Like,
You
why,
can
why
admire
do
things.
it?
Like you can appreciate and admire and be a part of something without it being a water slide. Like if you were to go to like the Pantheon, I doubt you would be like boring.
The Pantheon?
The Pantheon, yes.
The Parthenon?
The Pantheon, the one that's still together.
The Parthenon.
No, the Pantheon is in Rome. The Parthenon is in Athens.
What is the Pantheon? Like, I know the Pantheon
Go to
of the gods.
www.google.com.
Okay.
Type in Parthenon, but take out an N and change one of the R's to an N.
Pantheon, Rome.
It doesn't really matter what it is.
Okay.
Did you guys know that James Franco made an As I Lay Dying film?
I did. I saw that when I was looking.
God.
I
when
would not want to watch this
when
as
I-
a movie.
It was
No.
written,
Well,
written,
hold on,
directed
hold on.
and starring James Franco.
Really?
Yeah.
James Franco as Darl, Tim Blake Nelson as Ants.
I might want to see that after all.
How about that, huh?
I don't
You
know.
know,
I don't
this
think
is
I don't think this could work as a movie though. Even with
That's why he made it. I was just reading it said Franco said he wanted to make it because they told him he couldn't make it into a movie.
I don't. I agree with whoever.
Well,
Told
maybe
me
it should, but yeah, maybe it should.
I would say, like, As I Lay Dying could not be made into a book successfully.
Mm.
Boom. Roasted.
I'll give you the conch for that one, Dylan. Here you go. Let's do ratings. Well, did you find out what the Pantheon is?
Well, yeah, apparently it's a building in Rome. I've only ever heard of Pantheon, like, lowercase, as in, like, a term for, like, all of the Roman gods consist the Pantheon of gods.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I'd never heard of the building before.
You're in the shadow of the capstone of higher education, and you don't know that. That's a
Ouch.
swipe at the University of Alabama.
Yeah. No, I got it.
The irony of their motto.
I got it.
I got a rating. We doing ratings?
All right, what's your ratings? Yeah, what's your rating?
I got a rating. Ansel was kind of reminding me about this the other night. This guy a couple of years ago pretended that somebody vandalized his yard, and he like spray painted on his driveway like Black's Rule, as part of the grift to kind of show that he had been victimized by minorities and people that he's against.
People who won't let him celebrate his heritage,
Right? Yeah.
without being molested.
Right. So yeah, that's my rating because that's kind of what this book is. Just like, hey, we're Southern white Americans and we matter. And yeah, no, you don't.
Okay.
And
I don't think that was the point of the book. I mean, he was just painting with the colors he had.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I don't agree with that at all. But that's your rating.
well, here's the thing: like simply by presenting that as the focus of the story is celebrating that.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Like Elijah said, these are not good people. Like, this is not, nothing good happens to them.
But at the same time, like, I didn't feel that it was very critical of Southern white American culture.
It didn't have to be. Like, there was nothing beyond that.
I think presenting it is being critical enough.
I mean, you got some letters from the outside world, some telegraphs, but like,
well, maybe that's what it like. Maybe
you couldn't be critical of it because like there was nothing else. You know what I mean?
It's 1930. The world's a little bit bigger than just what's outside your front door. There was some really good like science fiction and shit that was getting written in 1930. Like you could have been more imaginative. You could have stepped outside of, this backwoods hellhole and written an actually interesting story.
Like I said, I think he was just painting with the colors he had, bro. You're not going to convince me.
He should have gotten better colors.
Yeah. Anyway, agree to disagree. We can be civil about it. We can agree without being or we can disagree without being disagreeable.
I can't be civil about this. As a matter of fact, I think it might start a civil war. Brothers killing brothers. the worst kind of war.
All right, Ansel. It's your turn for a rating and hopefully a de-escalation.
Okay. I think I'll de-escalate this. I'm going to give it 9-inch nails. That's
Wait,
are those really long nails or
no,
nine
not 9
really
not 9-inch
1
nails.
inch long?
9-inch nails, because he used 9
1-inch nails.
9 1-inch nails to nail up the coffin. Don't look it up. He did. And 9-inch nails out of 10.
I was just trying to figure out if you could, like, when you're making the art, make it actually out of nails and see if you could spell, like, N-I-N.
I'm just going to take the logo because I don't know. I don't want to spend all day on this. I'm just going to take the NIN logo.
You could just
Well, that's too bad. That's too bad.
Because that's your rating,
my rating's going to be hard for you to pull off. I'm going to throw you a challenge.
Well, it's going to be hard for you to be happy about what I do. Is what you're saying.
Well, I mean, it's fairly explicit. I mean, I kind of know exactly what I want, but maybe I just have to do it. So 9-inch nails. That's your rating.
Yes.
Not 9-inch nails. It's 9 1-inch nails.
Not 9-inch nails. 9-inch nails. Period.
Okay. 9 of the 9 nails of the inch-long variety. All right. Very good. 9 out of 10. I'm glad you liked it. Dylan, I'm glad you didn't like it. That made for excellent discussion. I am going to give, As I Lay Dying, I want a spotted horse. One of Snopes' spotted horses. With Shania Twain riding bareback.
I can do that. It's
and
easy.
singing the song "Still the One."
I can do that. That hard.
Because this is, you can do that. Because I like this book, and it's still the one Faulkner book I've ever read. All right, that's it for me this week. I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna leave you on that gem and give this over to Dylan. Dylan, here's the conch. What you got in store for us?
All right, thank you for the conch, Elijah. My next selection for book club, I'm going to subvert the medium once again. Neither of my siblings here have seen the movie The Room, written, starring, and directed by Tommy Wiseau. So we are going to watch The Room, by written, directed, and starring Tony Wiseau. And we'll watch it, and then we'll think about it.
And you
and
think
then we'll
that
talk
movie's
about it.
better than As I Lay Dying, don't you?
It's more entertaining, definitely more entertaining.
Exhibit D.
So yeah,
T for telling. All right.
here's.
I have a feeling we're going to regret this. Are we going to watch this together and then discuss it together?
I mean, I think that
over Christmas.
I think that would be fun to do. It's a fun movie to watch with other people. You kind
I'm
of
sure it's not.
You kind of feel greasy watching it by yourself. And
Then I wouldn't want to watch it with others.
well,
All right. And no, that's your
it'll be
pick.
fun.
That's what we do.
It'll be fun to do.
I'm not bitching about your picks anymore. All right. Well, that's it for us. Ansel, anything?
No.
Any parting shots?
Nothing.
Have we de-escalated?
Yeah.
All right. Well, you've wasted another perfectly good span of time listening to us rattle on about, I don't know. I don't know. We tried to talk about a
we're
book.
prattling on about our heritage. It's a heritage, not hate now. That's what you don't
Dylan.
understand. It's a heritage, not hate.
Dylan. Yeah. But we appreciate you listening. You can shout at us at bookclubcast.com. Send us any comments, any hate mail to there. We're on Reddit. We're on
bookclubcast@gmail.com. You hit us up there.
Well, I wasn't gonna. Yeah, you can hit us up there. We've got a Facebook thing. We've got an Instagram thing. We've got a Reddit thing. We got all the things. Do we have a Patreon thing yet?
No.
Oh shit!
Nobody-
All right.
nobody's-
Well,
I never want to ask people money for this.
thanks.
I wouldn't pay money for this.
Yeah, no.
Me either. All right. Thanks for listening. Love you all, and we'll talk to you after Christmas Day.
Yeah, that'll be December 30th.
So Merry Christmas. Merry
So,
Christmas.
yeah, y'all have a happy holidays, guys. We're at war. Stop saying it. Y'all have a happy holidays, and we'll see you right around just before the new year.
All right. That's a bye-bye from me.
Bye.
Bye.